doesn't pick and choose who it hurts. It devastates whole communities.
There's no control. It's Mother Nature versus you.
Basically put, we're asking everyone to listen to those evacuation orders, and we're asking them to leave.
These fires have now turned deadly. The news starts right now. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this special 4 p.m. edition of NBC Bay Area News. I'm Raj Mathai.
And I'm Jessica Aguirre. We're on early again because of all the evacuation orders, and now we have new fires popping up across the Bay Area. Janelle Wang is also with us.
Yeah, Raj and Jessica, we're also going to talk about our air quality. After some improvement yesterday, it's getting worse today by the hour. Some people thought they could escape to the coast, but that area is actually seeing some of the worst conditions, hazardous right now. I have a before and after picture, just 6 hours apart. You have to see. I'll have that story coming up in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you soon. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get to all the fires section by section. We'll start with some encouraging news. And for the first time this week, firefighters now are starting to see gaining ground. Let's take a look at what they're up against here. Flames from overnight in the LNU Complex Fire in the North Bay. Sadly, though, 4 people have died. But here's the good news. 7% containment at this hour. That's up from the 0% and 5% we've been reporting for the last couple of days. And this is why the fire crews aren't able to get to the area because of the smoke that's blanketing so much of our region. Our Sky Ranger in Livermore, which is similar to most parts of the Bay Area, just that thick, dark haze in the skies.
We have fires raging in nearly every Bay Area county. Let's go over them again with you. We have the Scu Complex Fire. It really, at this point, is the largest of these fires. It's burning in Santa Clara, Alameda, and Contra Costa counties. Thousands of people are under evacuation orders and warnings. From the fire lines to evacuations to the wind, we're covering this for you, all angles. We begin our team coverage with NBC's Robert Handa. Robert.
Well, we are here in Felton, one of the many communities here along Highway 9 in the fire's path that has now become a ghost town with just about everybody evacuated. But as you'll see, in some places, the fire has already come through. It is an ominous sight. A neighborhood around Fallen Leaf Drive in Boulder Creek that was there when I passed through yesterday, now gone overnight. Down the road, Eric Sharping is one of the last holdouts. He set up his lawn sprinkler on his roof to continuously soak his home, as well as his neighbors.
We've been, for the last 3 days now, we've been just watching the sky and looking for embers, and that's really all this is going to do. If an ember drops, there's less likelihood that it's going to ignite anything.
Firefighters from many different agencies have been trying to stop the progress of the oncoming flames, but hot spots keep popping up. Some of the scariest images we saw up here above Boulder Creek was just how many spots we saw that were on fire and with no firefighters around.
I'm terrified. I haven't slept in 2 nights. So, yeah.
Do you plan to evacuate?
Absolutely.
Well, that is probably a good strategy, but as we saw and heard today, the last holdouts here probably have very few options left. Live in Felton, Robert Honda, NBC Bay Area News.
Robert, thank you. We've talked all week about the lack of resources. Now, where Robert is in the Santa Cruz and San Mateo County Mountains, 1,000 firefighters are on the front lines. Normally, that's the number of crews that will battle a 5,000-acre fire. But that fire, the CZU Complex Fire, is more than 10 times that size. Coming up at 4:30, Garvin Thomas, one of our reporters, joins us to break down why they just aren't that many crews on hand. Let's get to the North Bay now. The big collection of fires is called the LNU Complex Fires. This is in Napa, Sonoma, and Solano counties, and it has turned deadly. 5 people have been killed. More than 200,000 acres burned. Nearly 500 structures have been destroyed so far. That number is expected to go up. Another 125 structures have been damaged. Right now, encouraging, like we mentioned, 7% containment. Let's bring in NBC Bay Area Jody Hernandez. Jody, the last few days you've been coming to us from Solano County, that side of the fire. Now you've switched over to the Sonoma County side in Guerneville, I believe. What are you seeing there?
That's right, Raj. We are in Guerneville, and CAL FIRE says at this point, this portion of the LNU Complex Fire is the most concerning. We are standing in Guerneville at the foot of the Wallbridge fire. You can see the dark smoke up in the hills behind us. Now, we just got off that hill. We took a tour of the area and there are flames. We're going to show you some video from up there. The Wallbridge fire again flaring up, forcing new evacuations in the Guerneville area. CAL FIRE is concerned about Guerneville, Rio Neto, and Forestville and Hacienda. California National Guard helicopters have been dropping water from the Russian River onto this fire all afternoon. This is a really wooded area, and there hasn't been a fire up here for many years, so there's a lot of fuel for that fire. We also saw a lot of fire engines camped out at houses all over the hills, preparing to defend those houses. Now, the other area of concern for this Wallbridge fire is the Hillsburg area, and the fire swept through that area, got to some homes early this morning, destroying some houses off of Mill Creek Road and Wallace Creek Road. So very devastating out there, and of course fire crews are very concerned about the Hillsburg area. Again, new evacuation orders now in Hillsburg, in the Guerneville area, Hacienda, Rio Neto. Everybody out here is being told to pack their bags and get ready to go. I'll tell you, Guerneville is an absolute ghost town. Again, we are standing here at the Guerneville Fire Station. If we can come back here and kind of show you, this is the base camp of this fire. This is the command center. We've seen helicopters flying over us, dipping into the Russian River and going up into those hills, and we were up there ourselves. Very narrow, windy roads. In some places only room for one car to pass, so really dangerous, and that's why they want people to get out of there so that they don't have any problems getting fire engines in and out of the area. I'm going to just have Matt swing around here and show you the command center here. They've got maps up, and there are some residents have chosen to stay, and they keep dropping in to take a look at the maps, the recent maps, to see where this fire is burning. But right now they have no idea when they're going to get a handle on this fire. Again, right now the Wallbridge fire near Guerneville and also near Hillsburg, the most concerning portion of the LNU complex fire. Good news over in the Solano County area, where there's now about 7% containment, but this area is the big worry tonight. Reporting live from Guerneville, I'm Jody Hernandez. Back to you guys.
And that is the organic nature of these fires. Just when it goes, it moves to someplace else, and then that's where we're focused on after it rages through. As we've been doing all week long, we've been talking to Chris Kimura. He's been keeping eye on the evacuations. Chris, as those fires move, then the set of evacuations also has to move.
And in so many places simultaneously. This is more about what Jody was just talking about. So this is a map here of Sonoma County. To give you your waypoints here, we have Lake Sonoma up here. Healdsburg is over here. Santa Rosa down here. Sebastopol here. But you can see this massive area of evacuation. So the red would be evacuation orders. That is where there is a lawful order in place for you to leave now, or you should have left yesterday or the day before. The yellow is an evacuation warning, and that's what Jody was talking about here on the eastern side. This is where we have these warnings in place where people must remain on alert, because at a moment's notice, these evacuation warnings could become evacuation orders, and that is an immediate order to leave. Now, the good news that Jody was talking about with regard to Solano, our team is reporting that all evacuation orders for Vacaville and for Travis Air Force Base down here have been lifted. Your waypoints on this map, here's Vacaville, here's Travis, this is Interstate 80 right here, Vallejo and American Canyon down on this side. Let me take you farther to the south now. Let's talk about the CZU Lightning Complex fire. Yesterday we were talking about this map where we have the south end of the San Francisco Bay here. Here's Watsonville, this is Los Gatos, Saratoga, Half Moon Bay. You can see this huge area down to the south between Santa Cruz and up toward La Honda Road is in the red. Yesterday it was buttressed on either side by yellow, which would be evacuation warnings. Instead, now we have a complete red mass of evacuation orders. People are not supposed to be in their homes at this time anywhere in this region. A developing situation with the SCU fire. We can show you that. That's over with the East Bay and the South Bay. This map, here's the San Francisco Bay. We have Santa Clara and San Jose, Morgan Hill down here, Gilroy over here. Up to the north, we have Tracy. Again, a massive area of evacuations here yesterday. It was about 58 miles from north to south, about 35 miles from east to west, roughly about the same today. The changes, as Ian Coe, one of our reporters, was posting about earlier today, is that there are fires popping up in Morgan Hill and in Gilroy. Specifically, he was talking about Morgan Hill, fires on the west side of 101. You can see the evacuation warnings in place right there on the edge. So it is entirely possible that the warning, which means that you need to be on alert, that could very quickly change to an evacuation order. Jessica Raj will be watching this in real time. We'll be here all evening, keeping an eye on this for you and mapping it out.
Yeah, here are the conservative numbers. Right now, more than 100,000 people across our region have been evacuated. Chris, you just mentioned that fire along 101 on the San Jose-Morgan Hill border. Here it is. This is new video. This is right along 101, a series of small fires burning through the Coyote Creek area. So if you go down 101, you see the Coyote Creek Golf Course. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's on the west side, like we mentioned, of the highway near Bailey Avenue as well. The wind is driving the flames here, driving the flames. Several structures are threatened, but so far, no evacuation orders are in effect.
All right, let's bring in meteorologist Rob Maeda. Rob, let's talk about the fact that firefighters have been able to make some headway in the LNU fire and also in the Scu Lightning Complex Fire. What has changed that they've been able to get a little bit of containment?
Yeah, I think the changeover that happened overnight to early morning, where we did have a little bit of a marine influence on our weather, that during the afternoon now, I think is starting to fade away. We're seeing some warmer temperatures, and the winds, as they typically do, are starting to pick up. And our Storm Ranger mobile Doppler radar, you see the green here. This isn't rain. This is ash that is falling from the sky. And concerning on the southern end of the Scu fire that Chris Kimura pointed out there to the east of Morgan Hill, when you see yellow on a fire weather radar, that indicates some large ash or extreme heat generation updrafts that are getting that into the air, that shows that that fire is taking on some new life and making a run to the south. And you can see the temperatures today are warmer than 24 hours ago. Some of the hilltops, 85 degrees there. Humidity is quite dry. Winds picking up through the Santa Cruz Mountains on a Scu complex, and up towards the North Bay, we've really seen the temperatures come up now to 97 degrees of those temperatures around Healdsburg and into Napa. And as we move into the weekend, our next concern becomes this south of the Bay Area. Another round of mid-level moisture, which could bring the threat of dry lightning. We'll talk about fire weather watches going into effect later this weekend in our forecast coming up in another 10 minutes.